Welcome, everyone, to our Day for Blessing Animals. One of the things that I know is true is that animals don't really need us to bless them. Yep, you agree. But by taking the time to pause and honor the animal creatures in our lives, that is good for us. To pause with gratitude and joy and recognition, to hear the sermons that the dogs will be giving alongside the humans. It is good to pause and notice where the joy comes from. So come, let us gather. Come, let us worship together.
If this is your first time here or your 101st time here, we are glad you are here. If you are an animal with 2 legs or 4 legs, we are glad you are here. We take time once a year with a service to give thanks and bless our companions in life. Cats and dogs, birds and chickens, turtles and fish, and so much more. If you have your pet with you in person or on Zoom, we are glad you are here. This community is what it is because of your presence. So welcome. Welcome into the space of love, support, justice, compassion, fellowship, and worship. My name is Sharon Sauter, and I'm a member of the Sunday Service Committee, and we are glad you are here.
And as we begin today, there are some things to know. Our nursery is open, which is in this back corner of the building, and that's for children who are up to 5 or so. Children larger than that are expected to be in the service today. And if you brought a child, you are responsible for them the whole time. So if we find them wandering in a hallway, we will bring them back to you. And similarly, if you brought a creature, a non-human creature with you today, take good care of them. That might mean taking them outside for a walk or anything like that, and feel free to do that. We hopefully don't have too many dog brawls in the comments today. That's my worry, but so far, so good. Following the service today is the OWL parent orientation. So middle school, Our Whole Lives is the gem of our religious education program offerings here. It's a full year comprehensive sexuality education program. And if you are the parent or guardian of a middle schooler, when this service is over, head straight to room 19 to learn all the things you need to know and sign consents and all of that kind of thing. At their meeting in September, the Board of People's Church adopted a new preparedness policy to help keep People's Church safer for all who are here. And as a result, we're now looking for folks to serve on a safety team and a medical preparedness team to be ready in case of emergencies. So if you're interested in either of those roles, please talk to me. Next Sunday, we are having the Kittens, which is a drag group, with us for the Sunday service, which I'm very excited. We had them last year. It was a joy. So some things to know. While we are paying them an honorarium to be with us, some of the fun of drag performers is giving them tips. So I encourage you to bring small bills or large bills if you're feeling generous to hand to the performers during the service. Little bit of drag etiquette. Don't touch the performers unless you're invited to, which is etiquette for everything with other humans. But sometimes when people are especially glamorous, we feel like we should touch the sequins or anything like that. So just don't unless you ask first. And because of the situation in the world right now, we are taking some extra security precautions next Sunday. So we're asking folks not to widely share that the drag service is happening next week. Invite your friends, of course, always, people you think might be interested. But this is not the moment for a public social media post or announcing it to everybody that you interact with for the next week. or anything like that, which I hate. We won't be allowing photos or videos during the service because we want to keep tighter security, and there have been too many incidents of people getting video of drag queens or drag performers interacting with children and weaponizing it in some really awful ways. So keep your phone in your pocket. If you're on Zoom, we'll be taking a little extra security on Zoom as well. We have an extra team of folks engaged for security next Sunday. If you'd like to join them, let me know. And I just want to be really clear, we're not aware of any plans for anyone who wants to be hateful or disrupt or protest or anything like that at this point. And we have some contacts who, bless them, spend time in the hateful corners of the internet to figure out if plans are coming together. And so far they don't know of anything. So we'll let you know if we hear of any plans. So check church communication channels, and we'll do our best. So yeah. So we're going to have a wonderful time, and I hate that I have to say all of this in preparation, right? But that is the world we're in right now. And we still are going to live our values and our commitments and find joy in the midst of others who would try to take that from us. And now for some other announcements. First, one of our youth is working on an Eagle Scout project, and I encourage you all to support and engage and volunteer. So Ian?
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Webster, and I've been here since I was born. So, yeah, I've known a lot of things about this church, and I remember a lot of things about this church fondly. One of the things I do remember from when I was a kid was going out into the labyrinth outside and wandering in circles, which at the time felt very complicated and now seem rather simple. But as of recently, it has fallen into a state of disarray. So for my Eagle project, I am working on bringing it back into a solid state so that kids during RE could go out there or just hang out, and adults can just kind of go out and relax in the labyrinth if they want. So we are starting the Eagle Project next Saturday and Sunday. And if you want more information, I'm available after the service. All we're asking is volunteers, donations, or even just good luck, you know. All right, well, thank you.
And now we have some people who are going to tell you more about the Church Bazaar, which is coming up now in less than 2 months.
My wife Jen was going to be here, and she's perfectly healthy. She just couldn't be here today. But she wrote a piece about the pasty making for everyone to encourage you to come sign up and join the pasty making. She said, "This time last year, my family and I were very new to People's Church. We'd been coming for a few months when I saw a sign up for pasty making. Being a Michigander, I was of course familiar with pasties, but I had never made them. So I decided to try my hand at pasty making, and I signed up. In talking about it at home, my son Xander expressed an interest in joining me." Back there. So one Saturday, we did just that. It was so fun, and we both agreed a new tradition was born. As a newcomer, it was a wonderful way to meet other people's people, and just a nice way to feel comfortable in this space. So we hope you will join us this year. And then there are some sign-up sheets out back with times and dates and things like that if you'd like to sign up.
Pasty making is a good thing to learn. You can make them at home, you know. I'm Martha Beverly, and last year I shared my Swedish limpa bread recipe for the first time. I had several sessions at my home. For 4 people each session came, learned to bake limpa with me the right way. I am pretty persnickety, but I want to have a uniform product coming out. And so we together produced 70 loaves for the Holiday Bazaar, which all sold. And I am going to have 3 baking sessions again at my home in October. 2 of them evenings, 1 a Saturday afternoon. 4 people can sign up, and people are already beginning to sign up there in the lobby. It can be done online too until we fill up. I've also bought a 50-pound bag of finely ground rye flour, which I insist on using. And I'm going to be giving, just like last year, giving bags of that flour to each baker that I've trained. And so this year's new bakers and last year's repeaters, so I encourage you to make at least 1 batch, if not more, for the Holiday Bazaar. So please sign up if you are interested, and I'm sharing the recipe with the wider church community. You can buy this finely ground rye flour at Sewall's. I haven't found it anywhere else in town. And so come and be in touch with me. I'll start carrying bags of single batch limpa flour rye flour to church. I don't have any today, but I'll remember to put it in my car. Please sign up. Thanks. Let's have fun. And let's eat and make limpa.
You doing a thing? All right. Hey, at this time, I would like to invite you to rise and bow to your spirit to sing our opening song together. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new voice sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden softly. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day.
I'd like to call DeForest up to light our chalice. Our chalice reading. If you are lighting a chalice at home, you are encouraged to type in the chalice box, "A chalice is lit in your neighborhood, street, or city." Thank you. All Animals Are Our Relatives by Florence Kaplaw. We light this chalice in honor of the animal realm, furried and hoofed, two-legged, four-legged, many-legged, fanged and clawed, gentle and fierce, wild and tame. May we remember that all animals are our relatives, worthy of our care and respect.
In addition to our chalice here in People's Church, we have chalices lit today in Millwood and Leisure Point. And now I'd like to invite our children forward for a story.
Good morning. Today I want to tell you a story from the Tingwit tribe of the Pacific Northwest Native peoples. And it's a story about a young woman who was a very proud woman. She thought she was quite special. Well, she was, because she was the chief's daughter. And she thought quite highly of herself, and a lot of the young men in the village were interested in asking for her hand in marriage. But she did not like any of those gentlemen, and she said no. She thought she was quite a bit better than all of them. One day, her sister and her were walking down by the lake, and they saw a whole bunch of frogs on the edge of the pond. And she started making fun of the frogs. She said to her sister, "These frogs are ugly. I can't believe how ugly all these frogs are." She picked up a frog. She looked at him. She says, "Oh, you're the ugliest frog I ever saw. I don't even think any of the other frogs would want to marry you." And she threw him back in the pond. Well, that night, when she got up in the night and went out of her tent, in her lodge, when everyone else was sleeping, she saw all of a sudden the most handsome young man she had ever seen. And he was covered in green beads on his outfit that she had not seen before. And he said, "I am interested in getting to know you better. Would you come down and meet my family and meet my tribe?" And she said, "Yes." So he said, "Come and walk up over this hill with me." She felt like she was walking over a hill, but she was really walking down to the lake. And when they got to the edge of the lake, he led her right into the lake. Over her head, she went right into the water with him. And down they went to meet his family. The next morning, her family woke up and said, "Well, where is the chief's daughter? We can't find her." They followed her tracks. Right down to the edge of the lake is where they ended, and they said, "Oh no, she's gone into the water and she is drowned. We are going to have to cut our hair and create a feast in mourning for her." But that afternoon, someone from the village walked by the lake and looked out onto the island where all of the frogs were sitting in the mud, and there they saw the young woman sitting with all the frog people on the island. And he was like, "Hey, we've been looking for you." But as he tried to go swim over and approach, the frog people took her and brought her back down into the bottom of the lake again. He ran back to the chief and said, "I found your daughter. She is alive." And the chief and her mother went down and they said, "Oh, come back to us." And they tried to get her, but as soon as they got close, all of the frog people would take her back down into the bottom of the lake. Said the chief, "I know what we should do. Let us give them offerings." And they filled bowls of food, and the frog people would love, and they set them into the lake, and they sank down into the frog people's village, and they took all of the food, but they still would not let the chief's daughter go. Let us bring more offerings. We shall bring all of our best furs and skins. And we put them all along the edge, and the frog people came and they got them. And the chief was like, "Come home." But they took the daughter and they took her back down into the lake. They couldn't get to her. So the chief did not know what to do. He decided, we are going to dig a trench and drain the lake, and then they will have to give her up. So all of the people got together and they began to dig a big trench on the side of the lake, and the water eventually started to flow out, and it got lower and lower, and the frog people came and they were trying to fill in the trench so that they wouldn't lose their home, but they couldn't outpace the tribe of humans. And so eventually the chief of the frog people knew he was going to have to give the chief's daughter back. Well, it was his son who had married her, and he was very sad to give up his new daughter-in-law, but he didn't know another way. So he gave the chief's daughter back to the people, and her parents said, come back home with us." And as she came back home, she told the rest of her tribe, "Those frog people, they know our language. We must not insult them. We must be as kind and gentle and respectful to them as we possibly can. And it is said that long after she was returned to her tribe, that was the story that all of the people told their children when they acted a little too proud or thought they were better than somebody else, whether it was other people or other animals. And it is also said that whenever they hear the frogs singing in the lake, the frog people are telling their children the same story so that they can all remember to be respectful to each other and their different ways of being. That is the story of the woman who married a frog. What do you guys think about that tale? You think that is fantastic, so let us go back to our seats. That was that.
People's people are generous people. And people's people are generous to the children of our community and beyond. We do not force them to answer questions about frogs and daughters of the chief when they don't want to. We show up for their Eagle Scout projects and have been a force in their life enough that they want to do their Eagle Scout project at their church and meet a need that we have. And this week, and last week, we sent our special offering out to support the good and important work that is happening at Lincoln School to educate children beyond our community. And this week, someone showed up for my youngest in a very special way. So those of you who know Dorothy know her hairstyles at this point, right? It is a explosion of clip-in extensions and bows and bangles and beads and, as much as we can fit on her tiny head. And a People's Church family this week brought in a huge bag full of their granddaughter's hand-me-down hair things. And let me tell you, it has been a party at our house all weekend. I did not let her do my hair today, but had I, it would have been quite something with so many bows, so many barrettes, so many everythings. And, I think a lot about how to raise kids as the children of clergy, because it can be a weird and sometimes hard role for a kid. And that small gift was another remembrance that you all can see my children as individuals, that they are not expected to be some perfect version of a child just because they are from my family. And I hope that will help them and all of the kids that they interact with here grow up to be lifelong Unitarian Universalists. Like they don't have to have an antagonistic relationship with this place. And that is no small thing. So thank you personally, and thank you for all of the ways you show up for the children in this community and beyond this community. The offering will now be received.
Please join me in giving thanks for all that sustains us. From the countless gifts we each have been given, gifts of life and love and sustenance, we bring these small portions to share in the works of love, which none of us can accomplish alone. Our first reading today is called God Went to India by Cynthia Rylant. To see the elephants, God adores elephants. He thinks they are the best thing he ever made. They do everything he hoped for. They love their children. They don't kill. They mourn their dead. The last thing is especially important to God. Elephants visit the graves of those they loved. They spend hours there. They fondle the dry bones and they mourn. God understands mourning better than any other emotion, better even than love, because he has lost everything he has ever made. You make life, you make death. The thing God makes always turns into something else, and he does find this good, but he can't help missing the originals. Our next reading is called When Your Best Friend Has Four or So Legs by Julian Jamaica Soto. What it means to have a pet is to love someone who speaks a language you do not. A dog will bow and prance. A cat will purr and blink. A guinea pig will giggle and squeak. A long time ago, a friend of mine had a dog with soft ears and considered herself the pup's guardian. A gentle way to think of protecting and caring for a friend, such a small gesture of respect for a source of boundless love. The dog's long pink tongue lolling in a goofy grin, the cat convinced that kneading and grooming are crucial to this day, a bird asking for a treat, bending a wing to wave. These are friends, they are loves. It's kind of a surprise that you should love someone so much who would eat the butter on the table if they could get away with it, and get endless hair on the sofa when they aren't even supposed to be on the furniture. When they are called companion animals, it's such an open, tender truth. The endless cuddles and tricks and loyalty, the comfort of fingers to fur and big, adoring eyes. These are friends. They are loves. They stretch our hearts and fill them with their abundance of kindness. When they are gone, our hearts remain larger, though their absence leaves room for expanses of grief. Their love champions and companions us still.
Our third reading today is a passage from the memoir, A Heart That Works by Rob Delaney. It is a book about parenting a young child with cancer. He writes, well into his chemo treatment, Henry was weary, bored, and wanted to go home. And one morning, a very sweet woman came to the door of his room and asked if he'd like to meet Lola, a little brown and white dog who likes kids. Yes, please, I said, and they came into the room. I detached whatever tubes or feeds I could and picked Henry up and sat him on my lap on the floor. I wanted to make sure he felt safe and was comfortable with the dog. He instantaneously wriggled out of my lap and onto the floor so he and Lola could kiss and hug. He was so happy. The paralysis on the left side of his face meant the intensity of the smile on the right side of his face was just off the charts. Your smile and my smile are more or less symmetrical, but since only half of Henry's face could smile, you could actually measure just how wildly different his happy to kiss and be kissed by Lola's face was from his resting expression. When I look at pictures of the occasion, it almost looks like he's straining his face, like the amount of sheer joy was too much for a human face to safely express. It was easily the most beautiful smile I've ever seen in my life. his little diapered bum sitting on the linoleum hospital floor, his legs splayed out with his little orthopedic black shoes, his smooth chemo fuzzy head, and the purest expression of joy you could imagine. Thank you, sweet Lola and Lola's friend, a wonderful volunteer who brought her in on her free time to meet kids with cancer. If you happen to be reading this book because someone you love is sick or you yourself are sick and in the hospital, I really can't stress how important it is to do things like play with a dog while you're getting treatment. Holding a dog, even a small one, and letting it lick your face is absolutely just as important as your chemo, your radiation, or any surgery. Why? Because it works. Right then, right there. Will your chemo work? Maybe. Radiation? Perhaps. Will holding a little Lola and playing with her make you smile your face off? Yes, it will. Right then, right there. Don't need a prescription, and you don't need to sign a disclaimer before you do it. Do dogs have germs? Maybe, probably. I don't care. I recall the doctors and nurses saying that a lot of the infections and illnesses that occur during the immune compromising that comes from chemo arise from germs and bacteria we carry in and on our bodies all the time anyway. So you're going to get sick from your chemo either way. Why not get sick having fun? I remember asking Henry's lead oncologist if it was okay for us to take him to a local park somewhat early in his chemo treatment. And he said something along the lines of, "You better take him to the park." To which we said, "But isn't his immune system quite weak?" Indeed it is, but he'll enjoy the park, and that's very important. So now it is time for us to offer blessings to our animal companions, whether those are pets we brought with us, whether we have a picture with us or want to pull one up on our phone right now, whether that's a stuffed animal companion. And when we have rituals, people often say, so what does this mean? What are we doing? What's the significance? Which is sometimes a question I like to avoid because I think a good ritual holds a lot of different meanings. And by announcing this is what it means, it kind of narrows what's possible. But today I will offer one meaning for why we do this. And while there's something about taking the time to pause, to notice, and to offer a blessing that is good for our souls. It is a time for us to remember with gratitude and with joy that what animals bring into our lives. I don't think it transforms the animal that is receiving the blessing in any particular way, but done enough, when we pause, when we notice, when we bless, it has the potential to transform us. So I hope you are able to bless whatever it is in your life that is bringing you joy and gratitude and the chance to just be present for a moment, which is part of what animals give us. And you don't need to wait for the annual animal blessing service to do that. You can go out and be freelance blessers of anything that might need to be blessed. And it is good to do it together, right? To have that appointment, to have the ritual, to have the community. So both and all of the above. And I'm sure more meanings that you all would bring to this as well. So the way that we're going to do this is I am going to be interacting with the people on Zoom. So if you're with us virtually, I invite you to gather up your pet or your stuffy or your picture, and I will offer blessings to those beings. We will unmute you, and it might be a cacophony in that little corner of the world, but we'll make it work. And here in the space, Diane Melvin, our Director of Religious Education, who is the most animal-loving person I think I have ever met, will offer blessings to the creatures who are here using some of the water that we'll be putting our joys and concerns stones in later. So go. Yeah, in the space, make lines up the outside aisles, and then you'll return to your seat through the center. If that works for you, if that's a physical hardship, we'll improvise and make it work.
Thank you to everyone who brought forth your beloved animals, whether they be stuffed or photographs or live and in the flesh. We are all blessed by the presence of so much love in our lives and in this room today. Our animal companions bring us more love than we can often express. So it is a blessing to have so much love in this room today. One of the things about loving animals is that their lifespans are often shorter than ours. And as always, when we have love, we often also experience loss. And to honor those who have gone before us, let's take a moment to recognize that love lives on, but it also can tear our hearts apart with grief. So Albert Schweitzer wrote a beautiful prayer that says, "Hear our humble prayer for our friends, the animals, especially the animals who are suffering, for any that are hunted or lost or deserted or frightened or hungry, for all that must be put to death. We entreat for them all thy mercy and pity. For those who deal with them, we ask a heart of compassion and gentle hands and kindly words. Make us ourselves to be true friends to animals and to share the blessings of the merciful." So now I invite us to take a few moments to acknowledge the grief and the suffering we feel when a beloved animal dies. When we see an animal who's been hit by a car on the side of the road, when we recognize the suffering that occurs when a habitat is polluted or destroyed, when we acknowledge the immense suffering caused by human apathy and greed to our fellow species on our planet every day. Acknowledging the losses, feeling the pain, and sitting with the rawness of it can open the way for our hearts to soften so that we can experience the grief that with time can help us move towards healing. I share these words from Kahlil Gibran. "If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide onto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one." So now I'd like to take a few minutes to invite those who would like to come up and light a candle of remembrance for a beloved animal who has passed, for an ecosystem that has been destroyed, for all those who are suffering. You may quietly whisper the name to yourself as you light your candle, and we will hold the space. So as we take this moment to bask in the glow of all these candles, which represent so much love and loss and grief and life and death, all of the things that this life is made of. We hold that in our arms, in our community, in our hearts. And we honor those who have lived and those who have gone before us. And we know that the love remains.
So now in our final act of blessing, we have a litany. So Diane and I will speak, and you all, your line is, "We offer our blessing." Okay, so with the gesture, we offer our blessing. To all the animals here with us today,
We offer our blessing. To the pets and to the other animals that we have known who have taught us about love and tenderness and responsibility, we offer our blessing.
To the animals who make their home on the people's church grounds, the turkeys, deer, bugs, birds, and others who make their home alongside us here,
we offer our blessing. To the animals who work, guarding or guiding, pulling plows, we offer our blessing.
To the animals who give their lives for us as food and clothing and to advance our understanding,
we offer our blessing. To the imaginary creatures, the unicorns and the dragons, the fictional characters who teach us to dream, to imagine, and to question, we offer our blessing.
To the animals who have gone extinct, the dinosaurs and dodos, we honor your memory and
we offer our blessing. To all the animals who suffer from cruelty, from loss of habitat, from climate change, we pledge ourselves to make the world more hospitable for all of us, and we offer our blessing.
to all of the animals, near and far, we offer our blessing.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Church is a caring community, and one of the ways we express our care for one another is by having time during our services for people to share the joys, sorrows, and milestones of their lives. So if you are with us on Zoom, I invite you to type what you wish to share in the chat box. If you're here with us in person, I invite you to come forward, place a stone in our bowl of water, speak briefly, and share your name. And we will sing together after each thing is shared. And sorrows we are holding quietly in our hearts today, those in our wider community and our wider world.
Let's sing all 4 lines together. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
And now it is our time for our final song, which is Baby Shark. So we're kind of having a tonal shift here. But if you are a child, a teenager, an adult who knows the dance moves to Baby Shark and wants to come up here with me and help teach the whole congregation all the moves, because not everybody knows them, that would be wonderful. I don't want to be the dance teacher all by myself up here. Is anybody going to come up? Oh, Grace is coming up. Okay, we got Grace and Ella. We got a few other dance teachers in the crowd. Okay, do you want to be on a step? We can teach all these grown-ups how to do it. Okay. Oh, we got a few more. Do you guys want to help us do the dance? And so everybody's going to need to be on their feet or however they like to move, because there are some great moves happening. Okay, I think we're ready. There we go. That's exactly.
Daddy shark, do 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 do. Daddy shark, do 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 do. Daddy shark, do 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 do. Daddy shark.
Grandma shark, do 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 do. Grandma shark, do 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 do. Grandma shark, do 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 do. Grandma shark.
Grandpa shark, do 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 do. Grandpa shark, do 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 do. Grandpa shark, do 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 do. Grandpa shark. Let's go hunt, do 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 do. Let's go hunt, do 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 do. Let's go hunt, do 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 do. Let's go hunt.
Run away, do 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 do. Run away, do 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 do. Run away, do 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 do. Run away. Safe at last, do 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 do. Safe at last, do 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 do. Safe at last, do 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 do. Safe at last. It's the end, do 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 do. It's the end, do 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 do. It's the end, do 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 do. It's the end.
So we have blessed our animals. We have danced the baby shark dance. Thank you all so much for being the dance instructors up here. We have grieved, and now we go out to continue to love the animals and love one another. Let us go in peace and go in love.